This is Bryce. He's a first grader at EStem who is making the most of learning from home this year. His parents wanted him to feel as comfortable and normal as possible. So here's what they did. They put together his incredible mini classroom. Bryce also decided to wear his uniform, telling his parents, quote, "I want to wear my uniform because my class has to wear them." Very cool, Bryce, and good luck at school. Hayden?
Do y'all see any of your friends from last year?
Miss Lowe? Yeah, Miss Lowe? 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 Miss Lowe?
Hi, I'm Miss Lowe, and I was Bryce's first grade teacher this past school year. When I found out that I was going to be teaching children in person and virtually through Zoom, I was so lost. I'm not gonna lie. I did not even think about how I was going to be able to maneuver from talking to children in front of me and talking to children virtually at the same time 3 to 4 times a day. It was definitely a challenge. I did not know how I was going to do it. The first day of school, actually, I got everything set up. I was, nervous about the camera and the microphone and trying to make sure all my technology was working. I'm not too tech savvy. And I distinctly remember this young man logging on to Zoom with all these posters in the background, a library set up, his manipulatives were in front of him, his materials were all there, and it was Bryce. And I said, "What's your name?" He said, "I'm Bryce Latimer. I'm in first grade now. What's your name?" And he made my entire day. And throughout that lesson, of course, technical difficulties started happening. The camera shut off. There was this screeching loud microphone noise, and I just completely was like, how am I going to do this? And I remember getting an email during my planning period from Mrs. Ashley Latimer stating that I did amazing the first day, and she was so impressed with my classroom management, being this was the first day, and I'm talking to 2 different sets of kids. And that just made my day, because as a teacher, being my first year at EStem and talking to 2 different sets of kids, it was definitely a challenge and definitely intimidating. But that email alone, I was like, okay, if anything else, I know I have at least one family rooting for me, and it was the Latimers. They have been so supportive since day one. Having Bryce in class was such an amazing experience, especially with him being 100% virtual. He's never been in my room, never come to school physically. And I couldn't tell because his participation on Zoom, he was always on task. He always had his materials. He was so independent. He logged on and off all by himself all the time at such a young age. And I was just so, impressed with that. His parents are doing such an amazing job. If there was something he'd understand or something he wanted to know more about, something he even could have been disinterested in, he would let me know. Like, "Miss Lowe, can you re-explain this to me? Miss Lowe, I'm not understanding. Miss Lowe, can you send my parents email examples so we can go over it?" Like, he took charge of his learning, and I just found that so amazing in a student that young. That's instilled in him already, and that's just such an amazing quality to have. And he's just so funny. He has so much personality. Bryce would just tell me what's on his mind, and sometimes I say, "All right, Bryce, let's tone it down some." But he would just laugh at me. Like, he was amazing to have in class. I honestly don't want to give him up for second grade, but I know he's going to do amazing things. He's just going to be phenomenal and excel in anything he puts his mind to, and that is because he has two great parents right behind him and supporting him in everything he does. And the Latimers were such a support to me this year as well. This being my first year at EStem and my first year teaching first grade, it was amazing. It was really great. Bryce and his parents made my first year here at EStem such a wonderful experience, and he made me feel, was watching him progress throughout the year, that I did something right, because for me to never physically be with him and him, you know, relying on me through Zoom for instruction and understanding of things that he needed to know for this grade level, it showed me I did something right. I did the best I could with, you know, the circumstances we were dealt due to COVID, and he excelled, and it made me proud of him, and he made me feel proud of myself, because he was a product of what I taught this year. He was just one of my many students that excelled and succeeded this year. And you know, just to Mr. and Mrs. Latimer, thank you for your support this year. You guys are doing such an amazing job, and I just can't wait to see Bryce grow throughout these years and watch him excel in everything he does. And I appreciate you all being a part of my
Kamala Harris. And who is Kamala Harris? The vice president. So, who wants to tell us Me. Okay, Bryce first, then Ada. I would like to make a lemonade stand. Yes. We watched Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. And that right there is a emergency. I changed my mind. I'm doing the same thing, Lakeland, and I changed my mind. You're gonna change your mind?
Hey Bryce.
Hey.
So today we're going to talk about how you think virtual learning went.
I think it went awesome.
So what did you think about your teacher?
She's good.
You think she's good?
Yep.
What do you think you learned the most from Miss Lowe?
Math
Math,
and reading.
and reading.
Yeah, and science and sink or float.
So Bryce, this year you did speech virtually. Tell me how that went.
Fantastic.
So what happened at the end of the year with speech?
We had a speech party
So why did you get to have a speech party?
because we tested out of it.
Who tested out of it?
Me?
That's a pretty big accomplishment, you think?
Yes.
I think so too.
All right, Bryce, what was the best thing about being remote?
that I could stay home and I could see my mom and dad.
You know about how many kids were remote in your class?
No, sometimes it's just a different amount.
Okay, do you think about half the kids were remote, half the kids were in school, or do you think 75% of them were in school with 25% being remote?
I haven't worked on percent yet.
Good answer. About how many kids were remote?
Sometimes it's only like 4.
All right, and my last question. If you could do it all over again, would you still choose to be remote?
Yes.
So first grade is over. We are here. Virtual learning for the Latimer household has been a success. Miss Lowe was an awesome teacher. EStem did an amazing job with their virtual platform that they had for the kids. Bryce skyrocketed this year, and it is no surprise to me when you have a teacher that is fully invested in her kids like she was. She took the time to make sure that Bryce understood everything. When she saw that Bryce was getting a little bored, she would assign different assignments to him so that he wouldn't get bored because they were going over something that he already understood. Bryce took control of his learning. We didn't have to say, Bryce, go log in. Not one time through this school year had to fight with Bryce to log into school. That was never an issue. He was always excited. She made virtual learning fun for him. Now, one thing that I will say is we heard this so much during the school year. Miss Lowe, Miss Lowe, Miss Lowe. We heard that so much this year. She took the time to put knowledge into each and every one of her kids. And I'm forever grateful for that. My kid has thrived virtually. All I have. Congratulations, Bryce, for killing first grade, and second grade, here we come.
For me, you know, after that first week, second week, when everyone kind of got, all the kids got accustomed to logging themselves in and working out all the bugs, it just was smooth sailing for us here. By making him get up, you know, and getting him breakfast and getting him dressed in school attire, which buttoned down in some khaki pants, got him more in a mindset that he was actually attending school, not just some of these kids, or just having him roll out of bed 2 minutes before school and logging in. So I think that definitely accounted for some of, you know, him feeling like he's in a school setting. Obviously, also you can see all the stuff that my wife did prior to him starting school, which actually went viral, was on tons of news networks. We got interviewed by a couple news networks, which was pretty cool. But that was shout out to my wife for doing all this. But doing all these little small things, you know, my wife doing this little classroom, us waking him up early, getting him a good breakfast, him getting dressed in school, dress code, all puts him in a mindset that he's here to learn. So I think all of that, on top of having excellent teachers and excellent EStem faculty, helped with Bryce's learning and allowing him to move on to the second grade, which is crazy. We have a second grader now. But overall for us, after the first couple weeks, you know, remote was not an issue. Bryce would be remote. He would log himself into school, log himself into speech, log himself in back after, you know, lunch. When he had a break, he would also do EXCELLED or do some of the work in some of his packet in his books. So he was constantly working when maybe some of the kids that were physically at school would be playing. You know, I think the only downside with Bryce being remote, being 100% honest with you guys, is he wouldn't have that interaction with kids. But I think that was also a disadvantage for everybody across, you know, school, even with my job, Ashley's job, everyone being remote. You're not having that physical interaction with multiple people a day. It's just you and whoever's in your household, essentially. Dropped him off for his NWEA exam. The highest you can get on the test is 190. Bryce scored a 185 in English, 183 in math. So those scores show that even though Bryce was remote, he was still learning. He actually took those tests at the school, so there was no ever question that, you know, I was helping him or Ashley was helping him do some of his work and that's why he was testing so high. No, he actually took those tests at the school and killed it. Miss Lowe, Miss D, all the faculty at EStem, definitely thank all of you guys for always pushing Bryce to succeed.
We gotta go, okay? I love y'all so much.
All right, and that's just another day hanging out PA. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.
Peace. It's still showing.